If we're talking anime and manga, there is one physique that places itself above the rest. Many men, if you ask them what they want to look like, will tell you that if they could get anybody they wanted, it would be of this character. For some, it remains a dream, as they don't believe themselves capable of ever achieving such greatness. Today, I'm not talking to these people. Instead, I want to address the warriors amongst you, those who have never lost hope, even in the face of despair. To you, my fellow strugglers, and to all Berserk fans and lifting enthusiasts everywhere, I gift you this: the Guts Training Program. Now, if we're discussing Guts physique, we have to decide which era we're selling on, as his muscular development varies greatly from arc to arc, in some cases being a bit too unrealistic or imbalanced. To me, the moment to shoot for is the Golden Age arc, as it best captures the essence of the character's shape and what makes it so appealing. So, for the sake of this video, I'm going to base the discussion around that time period in particular, between the moment Guts joined the Band of the Arc and the day he left them. During that time, our hero went through an impressive transformation, and that is what I'm going to help you replicate with this training program I made. His body went from slightly above average to massive in around 3 years. A timeline that won't necessarily be reproducible for you, but fear not. Even if it takes you twice as long, the final result is still achievable, as long as you put in the work. This also means that you have to start from somewhere, as Guts wasn't exactly a noob when he first joined the Arcs. He already had years of physical development under his belt by that point in the story, and the program I crafted reflects that. You will not be able to handle the amount of fatigue it'll put you through with untrained muscles. So before you start your grind towards achieving Guts physique, start by jumping on either the Adam or Baki Anma programs I put in the description. Yes, it will lengthen the journey, but keep in mind that Guts himself spent around 7 years building his body before the start of the Golden Age arc. So it's not unreasonable for you to spend at least 2 years on a novice program before you can start truly getting to work. Keep in mind that it's all part of the process. Speaking about process, you can also expect to experience every single stage that Guts himself went through, as he didn't transform into a hunk of muscle and iron from one chapter to another. Kentaro Miura, on top of being a genius scenarist and formidable manga artist, also had a deep understanding of the human body. And so the transformation he depicts in his story is more realistic than some give him credit for. To me, the Guts Golden Age physique is possible naturally, but of course, it won't be achieved by swinging a sword. It made sense in Berserk for the hero to get buffed through sword fighting, as it is a medieval-based dark fantasy. But for us, we will create this physique with weight training alone. I'm not going to touch on the subject of whether or not Guts training would be able to produce a muscular physique, as this is a topic for another video. Today, I'm focusing entirely on the end result, and the type of exercises you would have to do to get a similar look. The one similarity that will exist between Guts' original training and yours is this: it will be hard, and it will stay the same for years. Just like Guts kept swinging his sword and only added additional weight to increase the difficulty, you will be doing the same exercises day in and day out and relying on progressive overload to grow, as this is how the best physiques are built. If there is one thing we can copy, it's guts, dedication, and intensity. So, as you can see, the program is a 4 days a week gentleman split, with a strong focus on the upper body. As Guts' physique leans towards a more developed torso and arms, paired with average-looking legs. Not to say that they're tiny by any means, but they're much smaller than the rest of his body, which is an important component of why his physique looks the way he does. Thus, you will be training 4 times a week, with 48 hours in between each session, save for the last 2 days of the program that are done back to back. 2 of these sessions will focus entirely on the upper body, with the other 2 offering a mix of upper and lower. This program works the entire body, but the muscles of the arms, shoulders, chest, abs, and upper back are targeted in priority, as these were a priority for Guts as well. The Monday is an upper focus day, with the shoulders, the chest, and the long head of the triceps being the main areas being hit. We're also going to hit the upper back, the neck, and the abs, because I forgot to mention it, but of course, a thick neck is a priority if you want to resemble Guts. So on that first day, we'll start with bench press, dips, or weighted push-ups, whichever you like best, 4 sets of 4 to 8. And you're going to superset that with pullovers, 4 sets of 8 to 12. This is going to hit the chest and the triceps and shoulders to a large extent, plus the lats, and it's going to help you expand that ribcage, as Gus has a pretty big ribcage himself. Then we go on to barbell or dumbbell overhead press for more shoulder work, 3 sets of 6 to 10, weighted chin-ups for additional upper back and lats work, 3 sets of 6 to 8, or supinated inverse rows, as many reps as possible, depending on your level. Because if you're more advanced, you're going to be able to handle more loads, so you can do weighted chin-ups, and if you can't, you should just do supinated rows without any weight instead. Of course, depending on your choice, you're going to get more or less upper back work, and it has a result on the end look. Then we wrap up the day with diamond push-ups, behind the head, triceps extensions, neck curls, and plank. So this is a way to really wrap up the day, finish up the chest and the triceps, get some long head of the tricep work in, train your neck and train your core as well. You can do any planks you want, you could even do any type of sit-ups you want in reality, just train your abs. If you want to look like Guts, you have to train your abs every single day. The Wednesday is also an upper focused day, but this time we're going to put the accent on the upper back. So the traps, the rhomboids, the lats to an extent. We're also going to train the biceps, the lower back, because we'll be doing pulls. So in a sense, the hamstrings are also going to get involved, and the forearms. Forearms are also going to be important to resemble Guts. You start with barbell rows, 4 sets of 6 to 10, or deadlifts, 3 sets of 3. On this, you're going to alternate weekly, so one day you do the rows, the other week for the same day you do the deadlifts, one or the other, not the 2. It is possible to do the 2. If you so choose, please start with the deadlift, then do the rows, but I do not recommend it. And you superset that with single leg calf raises. Next set is going to be Zercher or SSB, so safety squat bar, good mornings, and weighted pull-ups. So in this case, you can do both or just one, but regardless of which one you pick, it's based off of the previous set. So if for the previous set you did barbell rows, well, you're most likely going to follow that up with good mornings, because you want to complete the work. You already hit the upper back with the rows. If you did the deadlifts, same thing. You already hit the lower portion of the body. Now you want to follow that up with weighted pull-ups. The reason why I said and for this one is that in this case, it's realistic to do both for people with a higher working capacity, and most of the time it's going to be only if you started with barbell rows, in which case it's why I said based on previous set. If you run this program, you're supposed to have more experience, so you should be able to make that choice. Then you superset that with leg raises, as many reps as possible. And we finish that day with hyperextensions, 4 sets of 8 to 12, plus supinated finger curls, 4 sets of 6 to 10, neck curls, and dumbbell curls. for that additional bicep work because Guts has tremendously massive biceps, so you better work them if you want them to get big. Of course, when you see a plus, it's a superset, so if you have many exercises in a row like this, it's a giant set, no rest in between. You should be very familiar with that concept already. This is going to finish off the lower back, the hamstrings and the glutes, the forearms, the neck and the biceps, and you can wrap up for the day, you're good, and we can go on to the next day. The Friday is what most people would call an arm day, although it's more complicated than that, but the focus will be on the biceps, triceps and forearms, with some degree of chest, shoulders and lats engagement as well. So you start with your barbell or easy bar curls, 4 sets of 6 to 10, plus core crushers, 4 sets of 10 to 15, and dumbbell rows, 4 sets of 8 to 12. So just with that first 3 exercises of the set, you're going to see that it hits the upper arms and the upper back to a great extent. We follow that with a cross grip bench press to have at least 1 compound of the day, or diamond push-ups. It's up to you in reality, you can pick whichever you like best. Then hammer curls for the forearms and biceps, and larats. Larats are essentially knee raises, so that's what they are. You're just supposed to do knee raises with maximal range of motion. As for this, we have hit the chest, so it's another chest exercises to develop it, the triceps again, and some degree of arm development in it as well. And that leads us to the last exercises for the day. It's going to start with a dumbbell overhead press, 3 sets of 8 to 12, or decline push-ups. So in this situation, I'm giving you a choice so that you can make an educated decision. Do you want to hit your chest more? Do you want to do less compound movements? Do you want to do more calisthenics? Okay, opt for the calisthenic option. You don't? Great, pick the weightlifting options. There are many ways to get to the same place. There are many ways to get to the Guts physique. You follow that with finger curls for more forearm work, 3 sets of 8 to 15, and neck curls. You train your neck every single time. When I write neck curls, it can be extension, it can be any type of flexion that you like. Just make sure that you hit every single angle. Don't do the same motion every time. Neck curls is really a placeholder for train your neck. Just like any ab exercise I put on is just train your abs. And then the last day, which in my program fell on a Saturday, on yours it can fall on any day as long as you respect the amount of rest in between the days, is the leg day. So there was a semblance of leg involvement on the Wednesday, but this time it's really focused on the legs themselves. I'm not going to ignore them completely. It's not like Guts doesn't have any legs, he still has them, but they're not a priority. So when I make you hit legs, it's really just an excuse to make you hit the upper back as well. So we start with deadlifts or Zercher SSB squats. Again, up to you, you can decide which one you like the best. The Zercher is a great way to involve a lot of core and upper back as well, and a lot of people love them. And something tells me that if Guts lifted weights, he would love Zercher lifts, so that's why I included them. But I'm giving you many options because that way you can pick whatever you like best. And just like with the rows, you should be alternating weekly. So it's a suggestion, not me forcing you to do anything, but it would make for a better development, because if you don't alternate, you're only going to do deadlifts and it's going to lead to imbalances because you'll never do knee flexions. You should do some squats as well. And you superset that with shrugs, as many reps as possible for 3 sets. So you pick up dumbbells and you squeeze until you can't anymore and your traps give up. Next set is pose squats, 3 sets of 4, or block pulls, 3 sets of 8 to 12. And we're doing that the same way we did for the Wednesday. It's based off of the previous set. So, for example, if you did deadlifts, chances are you don't want to do a pull again, you're going to do pose squats. And if you did a squat, you want to follow that up by a pull and not another knee flexion, so you're going to do your block pulls. Again, it's all based on your ability to understand what you need in the moment. And we follow that up with pullovers, 3 sets of as many reps as possible. Now, I added this because you're going to do heavy pullovers on the Monday again. So this time just select an easy weight and go for the pump just to be nimble and to send some blood in the area to keep you fresh and rehab. And that day finishes with face pulls, 4 sets of 12 to 15, dumbbell leg raises, 4 sets of 15 to 20, lateral raises, 4 sets of 8 to 12, and calf raises, 4 sets of 10 to 15. This finishes up the shoulders, it's additional work for the shoulders as well, some core work and some calves. And just like that, it wraps up the entire program. So as you can see from it, it focuses the muscles I promised it would focus. You train the upper back every single day, the neck and the abs as well, because it's the best way to train these muscles, in my opinion. In my experience, this is how you get the biggest upper back, not just by doing heavy deadlifts once every 15 days. You want to recruit it every single time you train. And for the rest of the muscles, it is as I already presented. And with that, you should have everything you need to achieve God's physique. It will take time, and it will be hard. But if you don't despair of your fate, you'll get there. Remember, causality is the law of cause and effect. Become the master of the cause, and you control the effect. Lift on, struggler.